You're listening to Give Yourself Some Leeway with me, your host, Eugene Lee. I've spent the last 4 years trying to discover how to break the burnout cycle, and as a high achiever in a fast-paced world, I know how easy it is to slip back into old habits, leaving you feeling overwhelmed and left behind. If you're anything like me, then you need to hear this. Burning out is not your fault. Yes, you can recover from burnout, and the post-burnout growth is not only real, but it feels amazing. This podcast is dedicated to helping break the stigma around mental health in the workplace, ending burnout culture for good, and the action steps that you can take today towards your personal growth and success. So let's do it. Now I'm going to start by addressing the elephant in the room that many companies don't like talking about, and that is burnout. And while they may choose to ignore burnout amongst employees, because they see employees as, they come and go and they just want to pursue different things in life and this job is no longer suited to them, maybe they just couldn't handle the workload. They cannot ignore leadership burnout. And I've seen many companies investing so much in leadership burnout training and workshops because of how prevalent leadership turnover is, especially in recent years, and how much a change of leadership can affect a team, affect the dynamics of the workplace. So they invest more in stopping leaders from burning out or from leaving the team, rather than focusing on all employees. But we can get to that. Look, it's a starting point. If you can focus on stopping your leaders from burning out, why are these leaders all burning out anyway? What is making leadership burnout so prevalent nowadays? Is it because as a leader, there are high expectations of how you perform, how you show up in the workplace, that you don't want to show any sign of weakness or incompetence, or that you are not the right person for that job, that you want to show up as a key person of influence to your team and at the company so that no one ever questions anything that you do? Are you struggling with decision making? Is the pressure of making the right decisions all the time and never failing affecting how you show up in the workplace? Do you have an excessive workload? Is there so much work piling upon you that you don't want to be seen as the weakest link, that you don't want to delegate work because you want to make sure that it's done right? You've been a high achiever, high performer all your life, and you want to make sure that your team is performing at the highest and maintains its reputation. Are you clear on what you are responsible for in your team? Is there any ambiguity around your role and responsibilities? Do you know who you can delegate work to? Is there any support for you as a leader so that you can make sure that you are serving your purpose and serving your role to your team? If there's any ambiguity here, maybe there's a lot of work that you're taking on that is not your responsibility. You could be actually overstepping a line and micromanaging your team, taking away ownership from them, and that is having a negative impact on the team more often than not. And this excessive workload is causing you to work longer hours and causes a work-life imbalance so that you're not actually taking care of yourself, so that you can rest and recover and show up at your best for your team to perform. This can be very helpful. Maybe this is something that you're seeing as a leader, or you're seeing it in your leader in your workplace. You can see these signs that they're taking on too much and not taking care of their own personal well-being, and hence they're burning out because they feel that they're not showing up with the same energy and productivity as they used to, because they're not taking that time to recharge, or not taking that time to delegate work to others where it may be more beneficial to the growth and development of their team, rather than them getting overwhelmed by the insane workload on one person. And sometimes I get pushed back from leaders saying that when they're stressed, when they're in that highly stressed state, that's when they make their best decisions. Oh, that's the way I've always been. It's when I'm in the heat of the moment that I make that final decision. Is that really your best time to be making decisions? Are you thinking rationally when you are in a highly stressed state? You've got that cortisol pumping through your veins. And is that the best time for you to make a decision that will affect your team, that could affect the company, that can affect how your company makes business, that affects a customer or client? Do you think you're a fun person to be around when you're highly stressed? Are you listening to the people around you when you're so stressed and anxious and overwhelmed by everything that's going on? Do you think that's a rational decision to make in the business's interest? Maybe you're over analyzing a situation because you want to make sure you don't miss anything rather than taking a step back and seeing, okay, what's really going on here? Let's think rationally for a second. Let's get everyone's opinion, see where everyone is coming from. Let's communicate effectively and then see what decision can we come to. Let's negotiate and come to a compromise. So rather than being the erratic, emotionally charged decision maker, how can you show up better as a leader? To make more rational decisions, to be a better person of influence for your team, to actively listen to others. How can you show up as a better person so that people are influenced by how you lead your team? The first step is your personal well being. And this is something that always gets left behind as a leader. They're so busy trying to take care of their role, their responsibilities, how to take care of their team members. Even some of them trying to stop their team members from burning out, but not actually helping themselves from burning out. So rather than leadership well being a nice to have, your self care needs to be a non negotiable. So the first step, as always, is to become more self aware. Acknowledge that you need to take care of your well being so that you can show up and serve others. How would you feel if every member of your team came into work on a Monday morning and they looked like a ball of stress? That they were on the edge, they didn't know how they were going to take on the day, and if the coffee machine broke, then that would be the end of it. That would be the tether's end. How would you feel? Now, how do you think your team would react seeing you come in as a ball of stress every day? Do they just accept that, oh, as a leader, you have to be a ball of stress, otherwise, you're not working hard enough? No, if you come in and set the example, that you come in refreshed, that you come in with a clear head, that you greet everyone and show kindness, and that you're acting from a place of clarity when you're making decisions for people. That's how you set an example. If you lead your life with self awareness, self compassion, and self care, you can show up as a true leader in a sustainable way. That's how you play the long game. And gone are the days when people expect their leader to be in front of their computer screen for 9 hours of the day. Oh, they have so many emails they must write, or so many meetings they must attend, and they can never leave their desk. They're so busy. That does not make you an approachable leader. You need to make micro breaks part of your day. You need to set that boundary. Have 4 or 5, 10 to 15-minute breaks throughout your day that are non negotiable. And not just quick runs to the coffee machine or to the water cooler to in between meetings. No, you need to make time for yourself where you sit down in a quiet space or go outside and ground yourself. Go outside and look for 5 different things. Listen for 4 different sounds. touch 3 different things, 3 different textures. Try to smell 2 different things in the environment. And that helps you focus in on, okay, now I'm present to the area around me. I've taken the moment not to focus on the emails and the stresses and the pressures. And it brings your mind into a default mode. Taking this time actually helps you to think more clearly and stop making emotional decisions. Acting from a place of clarity helps to replenish your energy stores. And there are different variations of this practice where you take a moment to replenish your energy stores for grounding, for mindfulness, and just resetting your brain, calming your mind, so that you're making your decisions from a place of clarity rather than being emotionally charged and stressed. And you may feel like, oh, I don't have the time to take out of my day. I have so many decisions to make. I can't be taking 10 or 15-minute breaks all the time. Maybe if you're not taking those breaks, you're making emotionally charged decisions that are causing more problems and a higher workload down the line. And if you're seen as a leader who is highly reactive rather than being calm and proactive in your decision making, people will find you less approachable when they have a high risk situation or a high risk decision that they need to make. So maybe you see this as a leader yourself, or maybe you recognize these signs in a leader in your workplace. It may be time to have a conversation as an employee to your team leader, or as a leader, have that conversation with yourself or with those closest to you. Have that conversation with your team. Am I experiencing these symptoms? Am I experiencing these behaviors? Is it something that you recognize in how I behave day to day? And that's the first step in getting that feedback from others, from those who work with you. That's the first step to improving the relationship you have with your team and building yourself into a better leader. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and if you did, could you please leave a 5 stars and a review on whichever platform you're listening to this, because it helps it reach more people who may need to hear this. Because I'm not doing this to serve me. I'm here for you. If what I have to say helps impact one person's life, then it's worth it. That's my goal. To impact that one person who needs me the most right now. If you want to dive deeper, or maybe have a conversation about this episode, or hear more about what we do here at Leeway, you can reach out to me at giveyourselfsomeleeway.com. You can book a call. Let's have a chat. You can send me an email at eugene@leeway.ie, or send me a voice note on Instagram at eugene.leeway. Until next time, take care.